When Abraham, you were talking about helping Esther basically not be so hard on herself.
Because it feels like if I have negative emotion, I must be doing something wrong. When really, if you have negative emotion, your guidance system is working. And it's showing you that you're not taking the path of least resistance. Well, why would somebody feel guilty about not taking the path of least resistance? Because you must believe that life is supposed to be hard. Why would you believe that life is supposed to be hard? Well, you must not believe that you're blessed and worthy of having a good life. That's jacked up from top to bottom.
I want to close the loop on that. I know obviously it's going to take time if it's taken Esther all these years. What I noticed recently, I was driving in Vancouver Island and it was on the other side of the road. I've driven on the other side of the road back in Australia as an emergency paramedic, but I've always had someone else in the other seat or the lights and sirens stopping all traffic. Now, driving on the other side of the road in Vancouver Island, doing those left turns across 4 lanes, all logic told me that nothing is going to come at me from the left-hand side. And I've always thought, the last 30 years, I'm an intuitive driver. But now I realise I'm not an intuitive driver, I'm a habitual driver, which led me to think, what else in my life do I think I'm intuitive?
It's a really good example.
Well, I'm not actually intuitive, I'm habitual.
Operating out of belief rather than out of alignment and expansion and broader perspective. Yeah. Very good example.
So I'm experiencing something now in my transition to Vancouver Island. We went there, had a great time. My son's now been offered a 3-month international program because he was undecided about whether or not he wants to go. Now he loves the idea of going for 3 months, test it out, see if he likes it. But now there's a timeline that's put on it.
Well, let's slow down just a little bit. So we want to hear all of that, but let's get a solid basis first.
Okay.
So beliefs are opinions. And some beliefs and some opinions are not serving you in a path of least resistance way. In other words, we started earlier today talking about what is, and your attention to what is prevents you from what's next and what's more. If your attention is all about what is, believe, then even though you've asked for things and your inner being is calling you, if you stay hard to beliefs just for the sake of keeping the rule or staying true to what you've always believed, you miss that intuitive connection to what's best. In other words, a belief would say, if the light is red, you better stop. Intuition would say, there's somebody that doesn't see you that's coming up behind you that's going to hit you at about 80 miles an hour. Get out of the road. And you might say, my belief is I should not go. This light is red. But your intuition says, move it and do it fast. And so it's helpful. And that was dramatic and unnecessary, but fun. But if you stop and say, so this is a belief, or even this is what my active marbles are, or this is the way it's been done, and then you put in the new word, what is my intention? And if you can accept that your intention is to go in the direction that your inner being is going, because your inner being has that broader view.
I feel I can do that, but there are so many other moving parts to this, and I'm reliant on other people getting things done on time.
Well, you're not trusting the law of attraction. No. And the reason you have good reason not to trust the law of attraction, because the law of attraction is responding to your bag of marbles that are jacked up. Because you're trying to consider so many things. You want to clarify your bag. I'm presenting myself to the field of attraction. Okay, law of attraction, do your thing with me. Well, when the law of attraction does its thing with you and you don't like it, time for modification. Yes, time for adjusting, time for being more intentional, less defensive, less dependent upon what other people think. When you have an intention and you line up with it, everything necessary comes into place. And resistant others that have been there that you've been depending on, they go that away and you go that away, and a whole bunch of people that are a vibrational match to where you're going are right there instantaneously. But we get it. Humans, you're used to, and we don't mean to sound derogatory when we say humans. We mean that you are observers of what's been going on, and a lot of what's in your bag of marbles is about what you have been observing, and that's what your belief system is all about. But your belief system is about ritual, and it's about habit, and it's about doing it that way because I've been doing it that way, and it's not about the new open loop. It's not about the new intentions that are now in place, and it's for sure not about the path of least resistance or the path of most allowance. So you got to step back a little bit and acknowledge that you've been living life and you've put it in your vortex, and it's all lined up for the well-being of everyone involved, and you just can't get it wrong by following what feels best. You just can't. You can't get it wrong.
Okay. So I'm just... part of me stuck on keeping score, checking for the emails. Have they responded to my emails? Have they called back? I just feel this added pressure now that there's a timeline involved. And my beliefs...
Well, what is it that needs to happen?
I need to get a work permit. I need to get work permits for me and study permits for my son and another work permit for another son, all in this 6-week time frame, when all I'm hearing from other people is, it takes months and months and months. And I don't know. And I'm waiting for the person who's in charge of all this, who said, yep, we'll chat. And
well, here's the thing. You're used to dealing with humans who are disorganized and with systems that are not effectively functioning. And you're not accustomed to utilizing the energy that creates worlds, that is very effective at what it does. And that's what you're stuck at. And you've got a lot of marbles in your bag about it not being fast enough, but you've also got some marbles in your bag about deservability and about not having planned ahead, and about, in other words, there's some blame casting and some guilt casting and stuff that's going on in there too. And so that's why we want you to just close the loop on all of that. In other words, I am where I am. I am where I am. I am where I am, and I refuse to feel bad about it because I am where I am, and my marbles have brought me here, and others involved too. And what is it that I want? What are my intentions? Speak your intentions. What are your intentions? What do you intend? What do you intend? Your inner being already knows what you have intended. In fact, knows it better than you can speak it. But what do you intend?
I intend to...
And here's the difference in the word intend and believe, or intend and how it has been, or in other words, use the word intend in a very determined way. What are you pointing at? What do you intend?
I intend to move forward in my life in a positive way into a brand new environment.
That is so vague. That is so vague. So what do you intend? What do you intend?
I intend to line up with what I deserve. And
that's also vague. Okay? It's also vague, and you ought to get every bit of that. But what do you intend? What do you intend? Universe, I want, what is it?
I want to...
Go ahead.
I want to move to Vancouver Island at the end of August with my son. So, on a work permit.
But, so we heard your words.
Yep.
We heard your tone, and we saw your face.
Sorry. I was bored with it.
And it wasn't convincing.
Okay.
In other words, it was defensive.
Yep.
It was unsure. In other words, your marbles are cloudy, and that's the work. That's the work. So it helps if you've been pointing for a while and things have been working out, but give us some easy existing matches for things that you've pointed at that came right about for you. Easy existing matches.
I found a home when I was there. I've been offered an apartment to rent, beautiful apartment with everything that I want in it. The job is obviously available and fantastic. I've been welcomed into a beautiful community over there.
Easy existing matches. All right, now give us some, because we get all of that. Yeah. Give us some easy existing matches about other things that let you know that your point of attraction is strong and solid. Easy existing matches. You get what we mean. Easy existing matches. Not a stretch, not a begging, not a pleading, not a worrying, just a solid affirmation that what you're pointing at is pretty darn normal for you. What kinds of things happen for you?
What kind of things happen for me?
You gave
I've
a-
manifested great news in the past. I've manifested great jobs in the past. I've manifested streamlined processes in the past. I've manifested wonderful cruises. This is my
I
third
understand
cruise
that
in
the
12
law of
months.
attraction is responding to my now vibration period. I'm understanding that I can offer a vibration that the law of attraction will line things up that match that period. I'm understanding that I don't have to put all factors in the situation and then make them all work out. That's the law of attraction's job. My job is to deliver the marbles. My job is to create the feeling within me to which the law of attraction is responding. I am entering the field of attraction with this. What is it? Strong desire that is not being contradicted by thoughts that mess it up. Strong desire. I want to say to you that when your desire is strong enough, it almost doesn't matter what you believe. But that's because the desire occupies the majority of your thought. So that's what you want to do. You want to, there's nothing serious going on here. The law of attraction is eager, always cooperating with your bag of marbles, with what's going on, with the thoughts that you've been thinking, or wanting to find a way to make your pattern of belief stop still for a moment so that you can visualize the law of attraction responding to it. That's what the whole marble thing is about. Sometimes it works for people and sometimes it doesn't. But you've got these beliefs that are active. It's only the active beliefs that matter. It doesn't matter. None of the beliefs that you believed before that don't have anything to do with this have anything to do with this. It's only the marbles that are active. And so what it is, it's your response to things. In other words, you can have a clear thought, I want this, and then you get feedback from who? From agencies or from whatever, and then you're responding. You're reacting. You're reacting to the feedback rather than keeping your pointing clear. You see what we're getting at? In other words, a determination, a definition. This is how it's going to be. This is how it's going to be. Everything's lined up. Everything is falling into place. Things are always working out for me. I get what I think about. I'm getting better and better at thinking about what I want. I'm pointing more at what I want, and I'm not pointing as often in my worrisome direction. I can tell by the way I feel that I'm on solid ground. All of these things have already lined up. I've got a place to live. I've got a job. Everything's lined up. It's just these last things that need to fall into place. Things are falling into place. The reason that things fall into place is because I get out of the way. The law of attraction is only responding to the vibrations, and the law of attraction is predominantly responding to my vibration, and what anybody else is thinking about, this has nothing to do with my creation. And as I'm looking at them and thinking that they are some way hindering me, now I've messed up my bag of marbles, and I'm presenting a messed up bag of marbles to the influence of the law of attraction. I'm not getting what I want, and I think it's because they have power, and they do not. They do not have power. Only I have power. My marbles are my power. I have the ability to get my marbles all pointed toward what I want. That's how it works. And that's what a decision is. A decision, but you have to practice yourself into it, because at first you're not practiced, and so it doesn't feel that good. So you go again and you go again and you go again until it's like until you've convinced your bag of marbles, so to speak. Why not? There's nothing in the universe that receives any pleasure from holding the goodies back from you. There's nothing like that that's going on. When you ask, it is given. That's it. You just have to figure out how to let it in. And we're not beating up on you. We know it is not easy to have thought that and thought that and thought that and thought that and thought that. It's my belief, it's my belief, it's my belief, it's my belief, it's my opinion, it's how it goes. We get it. But when you can let go of belief and opinion and only be about intention, then all of that just goes away. Because that and that can't both be active at the same time. What are you going to activate? Intention or belief?
That's the thing. Sometimes I don't even know what my beliefs are. Like I didn't know that I had a habit of feeling that way.
You know it now. You felt it.
Yeah.
And that's what we say. The tension of contrast helps you to know that. Yeah. You could tell. You're worried. Worried means it's not working.
Yeah.
Worried means right now I'm stalled out because I'm sloppy in my thinking, and we're not being disrespectful.
No,
almost everybody is. And what we mean by that, it really is sloppy thinking to only look at what is and what is and what is and what is and what is. And much of the world is only looking at what is and what is and what is and what is and what is. Then they're yelling at everybody else for looking at what is, when all anybody would have to do is just make a decision about what they want and look there, and the universe would just open a wide path for them. That's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going to Vancouver Island.